His name was Marcus, and he was staring at a declined card in a grocery store on a Tuesday night. Not a fancy store, a regular one, buying regular things, a rotisserie chicken and a bag of salad and paper towels. The card said no. He tapped it again. The card said no again. And Marcus, who made $200,000 a year, stood there doing the math with a line forming behind him, and the math would not add up, because the math never added up, because Marcus had no idea where his money went. You already know how this ends, but you do not know how it starts, and the start is the part that will make your stomach drop, because the start is you. Let me pull the camera back. Marcus was not stupid. Nobody who earns 200 grand is stupid. He was an engineer. He could hold 6 variables in his head at once and solve for the 7th. He read the news. He had opinions about interest rates. If you sat next to him at dinner, he would sound like the most financially competent person you had ever met. And he was broke. Not sad broke, not visibly broke. He was the most expensive kind of broke there is. The kind with a good haircut and a car payment and a savings account that hovered near zero no matter how much came in. Here is the thing nobody will tell you. Earning more money does not make the fear go away. It just gives the fear a bigger playground. When Marcus made 60,000, he told himself the problem was the 60,000. If he could just get to 100, he would breathe. So he ground, and he got to 100, and for about 3 weeks he breathed. Then the breathing stopped, because a strange thing happened. His life got exactly as expensive as his paycheck. It happened so smoothly, he never saw it move. That is not bad luck. That is a mechanism, and it has a name, and once you see it, you cannot unsee it in your own life. The mechanism is that your spending does not follow your needs. Your spending follows the people around you. Marcus got the raise, and the raise came with a new office, and the new office came with new colleagues, and the new colleagues drove nicer cars and ate at nicer places and took nicer vacations, and Marcus, being a human being and not a spreadsheet, did what every human being does. He matched the room. Nobody told him to. There was no meeting. He just quietly, automatically, began to spend like the people he stood next to. You do this too. You do it right now, and nobody will tell you, so I will. The herd is not a metaphor. It is wired into you at a level older than money itself. For most of human history, being cast out of the group meant death. So your brain runs a background program every waking second, scanning the people around you and asking one question. Am I keeping up? Not, do I have enough? Not, am I safe? Just, am I keeping up with them? And when the answer is no, you feel a very specific flavor of fear, and that fear does not feel like fear. It feels like a totally reasonable decision to upgrade the car. Watch how it worked on Marcus, because it is working on you the exact same way. The first year at the higher salary, he bought a nicer apartment. Reasonable. He had earned it. The nicer apartment had nicer neighbors, and the nicer neighbors had a certain kind of couch, so he got the couch. The couch made his old table look sad, so he got the table. His friends started booking weekend trips, and Marcus was not going to be the one who said he could not afford it, because saying that out loud in front of the group felt like a small death. So he went. Every time. He put it on the card and told himself the next paycheck would sort it out. The next paycheck never sorted it out, because the next paycheck was already spoken for by the last 3 decisions he had made to keep up. Here is where the loss frame bites, and I want you to sit in it for a second, because this is what it is actually costing you. Marcus did not lose his money on anything he could point to. There was no yacht. There was no gambling problem. If you handed him a bank statement and asked him to circle the mistake, he could not do it because there was no single mistake. There were 400 tiny, reasonable, socially normal decisions, each one triggered by a glance at somebody else, and every single one of them felt correct in the moment. That is the cruelty of it. You will never catch the leak because the leak is not a hole. The leak is a habit of matching, and the habit does not show up on a statement. Now, scarcity. This is the part that turns a slow leak into a flood. When Marcus started to sense the trouble, when the balance started scaring him, you would think he would spend less. He did the opposite. He spent more. And this is the single most counterintuitive fact about money and fear. So let me say it plainly. When people feel scarcity, they do not tighten up. They grab. Think about the last time a store told you a deal ended at midnight. You did not feel calm and rational. You felt a clock. You felt that if you did not act, you would lose something, and losing something hurts you roughly twice as much as gaining the same thing feels good. That is not weakness. That is your loss aversion, and it is one of the most reliably measured things in all of human behavior. Marcus felt scarce, and scarcity narrows your vision down to right now. The future disappears. The savings account, the retirement, the version of you in 20 years, all of it goes blurry, and the only thing in focus is the thing you can grab today to feel okay for an hour. So he grabbed a nicer watch, because the watch made him feel like a man who was doing fine. A last-minute flight, because missing the trip would confirm the fear that he was falling behind. Each grab was a tiny painkiller for a wound he could not name, and painkillers are expensive when you buy them retail. Nobody will tell you that the feeling of being broke makes you spend more. They will tell you to make a budget, but you cannot budget your way out of a fear you have not named. Let me show you the slow unraveling, because it did not happen in a dramatic night. It happened over 4 years, so quietly that Marcus experienced it as normal. Year 1, he had a little debt but a great income, so who cared? Year 2, the little debt had a friend, a second card, and the minimum payment started to appear like a low hum in the background of his month. Year 3, he got another raise, a real one, and here is the horror: the raise did not help. It vanished in 90 days. He upgraded the car because the promotion seemed to call for it, and the new payment ate the entire raise before he ever felt it in his account. He was earning more and drowning faster, and he could not explain to a single person how both of those were true at the same time. You want to know the loneliest feeling in the world? It is making great money and being terrified to check your balance. Marcus knew that feeling intimately. He had a 6-figure salary, and he flinched every time his banking app loaded. And he told no one. That is the herd again, closing the trap. Because everyone around him assumed he was fine, and he could not afford, socially, to admit he was not. Admitting it would drop him below the group, and dropping below the group triggered the ancient death fear. So he kept smiling, and kept spending, and kept matching, and the smiling was the most expensive thing he owned. Which brings us back to the grocery store, and the declined card, and the line of people behind him. Here is what actually happened in that moment, and it is the whole lesson, so lean in. Marcus was not broke because he ran out of money that Tuesday. He was broke because for 4 years he had let other people write his budget. Every colleague, every neighbor, every friend with a nicer trip had, without knowing it, cast a vote on how Marcus spent his life. And Marcus had counted every vote. His spending was not a reflection of what he wanted. It was a reflection of what he was afraid of being seen as. And the thing about spending to be seen a certain way is that the audience is not even watching. They are too busy performing for you. That is the peak, so let me hand it to you straight. You are financing an image for an audience that is financing an image for you. Everybody is broke in the same costume, nodding at each other, each one certain that everyone else has it figured out. The whole crowd is bailing water and pretending they are on a cruise. So what did Marcus do? He did the one thing nobody around him was doing. He got quiet. He stopped asking the room what he should want. He wrote down every place his money went for 1 month, not to shame himself, but to finally see the pattern. And the pattern was obvious the second he looked at it. Almost none of it was for him. Almost all of it was for the room. He cancelled the trip he did not want to go on. He told one friend the truth, out loud, that he was cutting back, and the sky did not fall, and the friend, it turned out, was relieved because the friend was drowning too and had been too afraid to say it first. He kept the car 1 more year. He let the version of him that other people expected quietly die, and nobody attended the funeral because nobody had ever really been watching. Within 18 months, the man who could not buy a chicken had a real cushion for the first time in his adult life. His income did not change. His income was never the problem. What changed is that he stopped letting fear and other people's couches decide where his money went. So here is the part I need you to actually hear, because you are closer to Marcus than you think, and nobody will say this to your face. The next purchase that feels urgent, the deal that ends tonight, the upgrade that suddenly seems necessary, the trip you cannot skip. Ask yourself one question. If nobody would ever know I bought this, would I still want it? If the honest answer is no, you are not buying a thing. You are buying a place in the herd, and the herd cannot pay your bills. The herd will not be standing next to you at the grocery store when the card says no. Marcus earned $200,000 a year and never knew where it went. And the answer, the whole answer, was that it went to people who never once looked up to see him spend it. Do not send your money to an audience that is not watching. Spend it on the one life that is actually yours, before you are standing in that line, tapping a card that has already decided the answer is no.